Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 1 from 5A. We present about our research paper, which is the acceptance of e-wallet among B40. Our group members is me, Puteri Nurbalqish Binti Azmi, Azmira Binti Sidek, Haniesa Binti Abdullah, Muhammad Haziq bin Zainal.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Haniesa and I will be presenting the introduction to our thesis presentation. Firstly, our main goal for this research is to find out what are the variables that encourage or prompt Malaysians B40 to use the e-wallet as their medium of payment. According to Malaysia's central bank, we have 5 types of retail payment instruments. The most common one is credit cards and debit cards, and I'm sure everyone has used these instruments at least once before. To further clarify, e-wallet is also known as e-money. It is a modern age financial capabilities and is a payment instrument that contains a monetary value that has been paid in advance by the user. So this meaning to say that once we have top up our e-wallet, we can purchase any goods and services because the amount will be deducted from our e-wallet balance.
Hi, my name is Puteri Nurbalqish Binti Azmi, and I am going to present about our current situation and problem statement. Our current situation of this research is electronic wallets are cashless service that may be used in the place of cash. People no longer have to run to the ATMs or bank to withdraw cash, but transaction may be complete in a split of second at the point of purchase. The COVID-19 is one of the several factors contributing to the global shift away from cash. As people are resisting using physical cash and card due to the social distance, this outbreak in Malaysia involved in the use of contactless payment technology at this time. First problem that we have is a lack of information protection understanding among users has been reported in earlier research, which have shown an increase in information infringement incidents. People are not using e-wallets totally because they still rely on actual money and the present online system, which has been around for a long time. Because of this, lower income individuals are less likely to use an e-wallet than their wealthier peers. Aside from them, some of them do not discover enough about e-wallet and how to use it. As a result, the rate of intention to use the e-wallet is also low since they can get inaccurate news about their personal information being exploited for other purpose when they use the e-wallet. In a summary from previous study, concern about the digital payment industry might be a brief period trend in Malaysia. Next, we move to research objective and research question that we already stated in our research paper. For research objective, there are 3 phases, which is to analyze the relationship between perceived ease of use and the acceptance of e-wallet among lower income in Malaysia. Second, to analyze the relationship between perceived usefulness and the acceptance of e-wallet among lower income in Malaysia. And the third is to analyze the relationship between perceived security and the acceptance of e-wallet among lower income in Malaysia. Next, we move to the research question. The first question that we have is, what is the relationship between perceived usefulness, ease of use, and perceived security to use e-wallet among the lower income people? The second question is, what modes of payment that people from lower income prefer to use? And the third is, how does cashless payment achieve cost efficiency and time saving as well the economic growth of the country? And the last question is, how are the acceptance level of using e-wallets among the 40 group? Next, I will talk about our scope and limitation of the study. The study scope in this research is based on the research paper that we have covered about the acceptance of e-wallet among the group of B40 income, which also means is for the lower income. The limitation of this research that we found toward the acceptance of e-wallet among the group of B40 is we only focus only for B40 income, as is because our title of research is the acceptance of e-wallet among B40. The finding of this study also cannot be generalized to all income levels like M40 or T20. For your information, M40 is a middle income group while T20 is for upper income group. Another limitation of this study is our duration seems to be rather limited. It is because there is a lack of previous research of study, limited access of the data, time constraint and lack of time for collecting the data. We also find difficulty to access the reading learning material from the library or journal website, as it was the same because we have found it was a lack of previous research of studies.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Azmira. I will continue this presentation with literature review. This literature review section analyses relevant literature on the relationship of acceptance of e-wallet among B50 income group. This section consists of conceptual meaning of a dependent variable, conceptual meaning of an independent variable, theoretical framework, and hypothesis development. According to the Urban Dictionary, the definition of acceptance is having a favorable attitude toward an idea, circumstance, person, or organization. Additionally, acceptance is a term that refers to adopting an attitude of non-judgmental awareness and willingly embracing the experience of one's thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations in the moment that they occur. E-wallets, also known as digital wallets, are online services or software applications that allow two parties to engage in electronic transaction by exchanging digital currency units for goods and services. In terms of household income in Malaysia, B40 refers to the lowest 40% of the population. They have a monthly income that is lower than 4,850 ringgit. The categorization of income is made so that the government may more easily monitor the economic development of the population as it relates to the various categories, provide assistance to those who are in need, and also reduce income disparities among the people. There have been several models and structures developed in order to shed light on the subject of customer acceptance of new technologies. According to Vijaya Sarati, the technology acceptance model factors are the most appropriate ones to use while making a choice on whether or not to adopt new technology. Time factors is regarded as one of the most well-recognized extensions in academic research for its use in the study of the acceptance and intention of new technologies stated by IDIN. Nevertheless, it's possible that the original time factors don't adequately represent that the fundamental concept, the influence that customer attitudes toward the acceptance of e-wallets. In order to make the model more accurate, it is recommended to include a few more variables into the analysis in order to determine whether or not time is acceptable according to Jaradel. Payment with an electronic wallet is now regarded as one of the most essential techniques available for conducting transactions. Uden and Aki stated that this is owing to the benefits of simplicity, flexibility, and protection that come with utilizing digital wallets in electronic transaction. Rosni dah mentioned that e-wallets are becoming more popular with the development of the electronic payment methods thanks to the extensive range of services they provide in the transport industry, the food delivery business, and the payment of bills. Hayashi stated that not only is it good for buyers, and sellers are also starting to accept e-wallets as a form of payment because it is the fastest way to make a transaction, manage cash well, and cost less in labor. The term perceived usefulness relates to the extent to which an individual feels that utilizing a specific information system will prolong the amount of time they are productive according to Davis. Inside this term model, it is expected that perceived usefulness will have a direct link intention to utilize the technology according to Park, Rhodes, Howe and Lee. According to the TAM model, perceived usefulness is defined as the degree to which an individual believes that making use of a certain application would improve his performance experience. The perceived ease of use is a crucial factor in user attitude and behavioral intention to adopt and utilities and technology, highlighted by Chawin and Joshi. This is because user attitude and behavioral intention are major determinants of ease of use. A large number of users describe that the process of using the electronic wallet application as being simple and straightforward. And therefore, a technology perceived ease of use represent how simple it is to utilize the technology to access a website in order to make an online purchases, according to Grover, Khan, Jensen, and Liavarasad. Perceived security is a person's belief that a certain procedure would be protected. It has been shown to have a direct impact on the desire to utilize a certain technology. People's willingness to use electronic banking services increase when they feel more secure about the transactions, according to Moradi. And also, according to Amaraso and McNeil Watanabe, the security of e-wallets may be described as the degree to which consumer thinks that utilizing a particular payment method through the mobile application would be maintained secure. This is the figure of theoretical framework that will be found throughout this research. This is constructed using the independent and dependent variables that were examined in this research. The building of the conceptual framework aids in getting a glimpse of an idea on how perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and perceived security are affecting the dependent variables, which is acceptance of e-wallets. So there will be three hypotheses will be formulated on the research content. First hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between perceived usefulness on acceptance of e-wallet among B40 income group. Secondly, there is significant relationship between perceived ease of use on acceptance of e-wallet among B40 income group. Thirdly, there is significant relationship between perceived security on acceptance of e-wallet among B40 income group.
Moving on to research methodology, our research design is quantitative research in order to determine the acceptance of e-wallet payments among B40, where we adopted the survey research method for data collection. This type of research allows for a wide range of approaches for recruiting respondents, collecting data, and instrumentation. As for our research instrument development, we use a web-based questionnaire. The questionnaire is in two languages, which are in English and followed by Malay translation. The questions are separated into 5 sections, which is Section A, focusing on our respondents' background. Section B, center on their acceptance of e-wallet payments. Section C, their perceived usefulness of e-wallet. Section D, their perceived ease of use of e-wallet. And finally, Section E is on their perceived of security on e-wallet. As for Section B until Section E, we use the Likert scale format where the scale 1 until 5 is respectively represented by strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. As for the sampling, our unit of sampling was among all B40s residing in Malaysia. In addition, according to the Krejci and Morgan table, our sample size needed was 384 respondents. This is because the population size in Malaysia is easily over 1 million people. And thankfully, we managed to get 385 responses. Moving on to the data collection and analysis, the data collection was done through the distribution of questionnaires via Google Form. We blasted it on various platforms such as WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to eligible respondents to address our research objectives. Once we have collected the data, we analyze it using a specialized software known as the Statistical Package for the Social Sciences (SPSS). First and foremost, based on the response accumulated, a total of 385 respondents took part in our survey. Out of the 385 respondents, 64.4% of them are females and 35.6% are males. Additionally, 61.8% of the respondents are in the 20 until 29 age range, making up the majority of the sample. Respondents who are single make up to 67.5% of the sample. With regard to the highest level of education, 54.5% of the respondents have a degree or are pursuing one, which brings me to my next point. 52.7% of the respondents are still a student. In addition, 64.9% of the respondents make less than 2,500 per month. Last but not least, 66.8% of them reside in urban areas, and the remainder either resides in a rural or suburban areas. Moving on to the regression analysis, the value of multiple R is 0.315, which indicates that this regression has a low positive correlation. Apart from that, the value of R square is 0.099, which means that 9.9% of the variation in the acceptance of e-wallet payments among B40 can be explained by independent variables such as perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and perceived security. The remaining 90.1% is explained by other factors. The Durbin-Watson value for this model is 1.601, which indicates that the statistic has no autocorrelation. The F-test for this model is significant based on the p-value, which is below 0.05, hence the linear model is overall valid. For t-test, the result for perceived usefulness variable is 0.002, which is below than 5% significance level. Hence, it can be explained that perceived usefulness is negatively related to the acceptance of e-wallet payments among B40. The results for perceived ease of use and perceived security variables is 0.245 and 0.869 respectively, which is above 5% significance level. This means that both perceived ease of use and perceived security is not related to the acceptance of e-wallet payments among B40. As for the variation inflation factors, VIF, the value for all variables is less than 5. This means that collinearity is not an issue in our model.
This is the data normality that we have already obtained in our SPSS data. As you can see, this is the acceptance of e-wallet, which is our dependent variable. For the skewness, our statistic is 0.193 and the standard error is 0.124. For the kurtosis is negative 0.765 and 0.248. For the perceived usefulness, the skewness is 0.998 and the standard error is 0.124. For the kurtosis is 0.627 and the standard error is 0.248. While for the perceived ease of use, the skewness is negative 1.025 and the standard error is 0.124, while for the kurtosis is 0.530 and for the standard error is 0.248. For the perceived security, the skewness is negative 0.202 and 0.124 for the standard error, and the kurtosis is negative 1.137 and 0.248 for the standard error. In order to get the result of skewness and kurtosis, we need to take the statistic of skewness of kurtosis of each variable, such as acceptance of e-wallet, perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use and perceived security, and divide with the standard error. So, as the result, the skewness of the certain of e-wallet is 1.55, which is it was between -2 and +2, which also same as the perceived security, which is a -1.62, which is also between -2 and +2. It showed that it was a little skew, but it does not differ significantly from normality. While the skewness of perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use, it showed a highly skewed distribution. While for the kurtosis, all variables are more than +2 and -2. So it showed that it was a highly kurtosis. It showed that our data may not be approximately normally distributed in the term of skewness and kurtosis. This is the test of normality table. For the test of normality, the p-value, which we call the significant in SPSS, is lower than 0.05, which is that, as you can see, all of the significant for Kolmogorov, Smirnov, and Shapiro-Wilk is below than 0.05, which is 0.001. Which we need to reject the null hypothesis. It means that our data are not approximately normally distributed.
Reliability test. Reliability test was conducted by computing Cronbach alpha. The measurement is to know how close the variables items that constitute a scale correlate. The reliability was performed for each measure by calculating the alpha of Cronbach. The analysis shows that a definition is calculated by the stability and accuracy by the instrument and helps to determine the efficiency of a measure. The reliability less than 0 is considered as poor. Those in the 0.7 range is acceptable and those over 0.8 is good. For the acceptance of e-wallet, we have to recording and delete one question to increase the Cronbach alpha value. Therefore, from the result of Cronbach alpha, it has shown that the questionnaire is distributed by the researcher is valid. Spearman correlation analysis is a non-parametric alternative that is similar to Pearson correlation coefficient that is used to measure strength and direction of association between two ranked variables by presenting the value from negative on to positive one. The result can be interpreted as very weak relationship when it's from 0.00 to 0.19 and it is very strong when the correlation is from 0.8 to 1.0. Hence, for our research, all variables come out to have a weak correlation and relation with acceptance of e-wallets.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Azmi Zainal. So I would like to proceed with presenting the report. My point is significance of the study. In a booming country like Malaysia, technology is always attempting to affect companies and customers. There is business that already started to implement the e-wallet to increases sales by providing convenience to customers to pay for goods and services, and to broaden their company reach to online customers that visit their website, allowing them to provide discount coupon and promotion campaigns straight to their customers. This study is incredibly significant for business who want to implement the cashless system to know whether people from B40 can accept the e-wallet or they want to stick to the cash payment. Besides, it is hoped that the study will benefit to both business and B40 people in providing information and clear understanding, and also the acceptance of B40 people toward the e-wallet. As for the conclusion, according to the study, acceptance of e-wallet does dependent on the perceived security, ease of use, and perceived usefulness. Every layer of page, income level, employment, and residential area is also affecting the choosing of e-wallet rather than cash in Malaysia. E-wallet is rising immensely due to the convenience of e-wallet or payment in this busy era. Notwithstanding technological advancement, many customers often prefer cash in hands to the traditional way because they think that cash in hands is more safety than e-wallet. This is the viewpoint of the old generation relative to that of the young generation, just like others. Everything has its um, pros and cons. We need to make the right choices as wise users and have the awareness of the wallet that we use. Furthermore, e-wallet undoubtedly a way more easier compared to the normal cash transaction since this modern technology where we can detect our cash flow in and out easily by just using some application that are very useful for the people in managing their own money in a good way possible. So for the recommendation for organization and the industry, banking or related organization should giving the people enlightenment and strive to educate and increase consumer awareness, especially the adults, in making sure that their money are being managed wisely as by using e-wallet. This is one of the way of nowadays where everything going on their finger touch. So for future research, it is recommended that we must having a wider elective of choices since it is very general when it comes to the questionnaire. It will also help in making the data more solid and reliable to make the analysis in the future. Thank you.